These are the results from the NBA on Monday night. Overtime was needed in the 76ers-Raptors clash, the 76ers winning. Cavaliers beating the Jazz. Hawks too strong for the Magic. Bucks taking down the Pelicans. Spurs beating the Rockets. Thunder outlasting the Trailblazers. Timberwolves better than the Mavericks. The Suns toppling the Lakers. And the Hornets from Charlotte beating the Kings from Sacramento. Now, conference leading Milwaukee Bucks beat New Orleans Pelicans 128-119 to continue their impressive start to the season at the 30-game mark. Giannis Antetokounmpo continued his ominous form, scoring 42 points and pulling down a team-high 10 boards. We have highlights.
It's a heavyweight battle down in New Orleans as absolute superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks take on budding superstar Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans. And early on, Zion finds Jonas Valanciunas for three. He's not afraid to shoot it. Why do we say that? Because Zion finds Jonas Valanciunas and he's not afraid to shoot it. He knocked it down again. He had the Pelicans' first 15 points in the game, but then Giannis happened as he starts to impose as well, just bulldozing folks, getting the layup plus the foul, he'd make the free throw. Then the Euro step for the pogo stick jam. How about Giannis? And if he's knocking this shot down, just forget about it. Pulling up and hitting the three. Later, Drew Holiday takes it away from Zion, and then on the other end, Marjan Beauchamp finds Giannis for the alley-oop as he goes up and mashes that. He had 26 points in the first half. Later in the second, Zion Williamson finds, yep, you guessed it, Jonas Valanciunas knocking down a three, and then Valanciunas turnaround jumper. He had 28 points in the first half, including 6 of 8 on threes. He outscored Giannis in the first half, but Milwaukee was up by 5 at the break. Third quarter, Zion Williamson dribble, spin, loses Giannis, and drives inside before finding, yeah, there he is again, Valanciunas with the stuff. 37 points on the game for Valanciunas, 18 rebounds, but Milwaukee still up by 5. Brook Lopez outside, another big man who can knock the shot down. Then Lopez again from outside, not quite a three, a long two. Milwaukee up by 15. Then it's Giannis again, driving in for the layup plus the foul. He would make the free throw. Drew Holiday finds a cutting Giannis, and there he goes, exploding to the rim again. 42 points, 10 rebounds, Milwaukee by 15. The Pelicans start a comeback. C.J. McCollum finds Zion for the spinning layup high off glass. Then Zion hits the shot off the glass plus the foul. He missed the free throw. He had 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists in the game. C.J. McCollum now hitting the fadeaway jumper. 31 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds for McCollum. It's a 3-point game. Drew Holiday on the other end uses the Brook Lopez screen, knocks down through with just over a minute to go. Then it's Holiday finding and cutting Lopez for the layup. Lopez, 30 points, 7 rebounds, and Milwaukee gets the impressive win. Your final score, 128-119.
$42-10 for Giannis in that winning effort, Lance, and the man who led the Bucks to the title the season before last. He's in very good form. His fourth 40-point performance this season, and it looks as if he means business once again.
Yeah, champions 2 seasons ago, Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not sure what's happening with the Pelicans, though. A week and a half ago, they were the Western Conference leaders, and now they've lost 4 straight.
Yes.
And they're number 4 in the West at the moment, so not offering that much. But Giannis on his day is unstoppable.
Yeah, what they did in the game last night, the Bucks did very well, was to keep Zion Williamson away from the paint.
Yes.
He's averaging 19.1 points in the paint. That's the NBA best in terms of a player scoring in the paint. So the team tactics going into the game, Drew Holiday was talking post-game and said, well, clearly our plan was to keep him away from the paint because we know he's dangerous, because he only finished the game, I think, with 18 points overall.
Yes.
And usually,
that was a key.
And usually he gets 19 in the paint alone. So he said, well, once we keep him away from there, then obviously it's going to affect their scoring rate, and that's good. Speaking of the paint, of the 42 points that Giannis scored on Monday night, he got 22 in the paint, so he was very dominant. He even had a three-pointer, which is rare for Giannis. And I would make a case, Lance, for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And before I make that point, I'll go back to 2 seasons ago, in the season that they actually won. and building up to their championship performance, we weren't saying that they were going to win. Nobody was saying that they were going to win, so it's not as if we are worse than anybody else. Yeah. But we were critiquing him and saying that the absence of consistent three-point scoring from his armory and from his range of offerings, not even talent or abilities, but from what he offered, the absence of that three-point shot was a glaring omission from his skill set, and that would ultimately cause him to not be able to perhaps lift the Bucks to the heights that they could go. Well, not that he found the three-point shot with any regularity in that championship winning season, but he did other things so very well, and the other players around him, Holiday and Chris Middleton, the three-point expert on the team, they played so well to help him. But we've seen points where Giannis's three-point shooting has improved so much, and I'd make a case, this is the point now, I'd make a case for Giannis Antetokounmpo being the star, or the superstar, that we've seen improve the most season by season. Because players will start the league and they're good at one thing.
Yes.
3-4 seasons later, they're still good at that thing, but they're not very much better in any other area. I think that incrementally, from the moment he came into the league and what he's been able to improve on season after season, I would argue that he's the one who's improved steadiest and steadily better than anybody else in the league.
Yeah, and he would have to, because as we had pointed out a couple of years ago on the show, George, because of his prowess in the paint, it would be easy to work out a strategy, or easier to work out a strategy to contain him, which I think he had some difficulties with that a couple of seasons ago, when teams sort of knew how to double team him and just to make things uncomfortable for him in the paint. So he did have to develop some other areas of his game to make him more consistent and prolific, and he has done that. And his size and his ability and his agility are strong points that he has his entire career to continue working on.
Yeah, and sometimes people look at the box scores from an NBA game on the night of the game, and they'll see guys on the roster who are introduced maybe 7, 8, 9 off the bench and 0 points, and they say, well, no contribution. That's not the story, because those guys aren't brought on to score points. And the point I'm making is that a guy like Giannis, those are the guys who come on and defend Giannis, and they'll present a physical obstacle trying to keep him away from the paint. And so if you have 4 or 5 guys, 3, 4 guys coming off the paint, each of them pick up 2, 3 fouls trying to stop Giannis. That's them doing a defensive job, and then they're putting him at the line. We know that he has his failings from the line as well. So it's not so the point I'm making is that a player like him has to face a rotating cast of defenders night after night who are trying to get him away from his sweet spot. And the fact that he's still so dominant and has added other things to his game is a credit to him and a credit to his coaches, and the striving and the need to improve, to offer more, to be dominant in this league.
A quick point on Zion Williamson, though, George, because he was a huge part of the Pelicans' run a couple of weeks ago that propelled them to the top of the West. I know he's coming off a foot surgery that he had ballooned. Your thoughts on his weight loss and how he has come back to pretty potent form? I think he lost probably 60 or 70 pounds. He was losing 9 pounds per week during the summer as he was getting himself ready. But even when he came back, there was a bit of a joke on him that he was still overweight. Your take on how he is now, given how he was 6 months ago, coming from the foot surgery?
He's a monster. I looked at him in college, and that every year you see the NCAA guys who they are touting come into the league and never quite do it. I mean, Markelle Fultz was a #1 draft pick, and he forgot how to shoot. He had to remodel his shooting action. So many of them come with the hype plans and never quite do it. This boy has lived up to the hype since he came. There was a lot of negative press about him as he recuperated and rehabilitated last season, missing the whole of it. We heard that he was indisciplined. He never wanted to train. He never wanted to go through the hard yards to get over his injury. And the dieting was bad, and his weight was ballooning, and they're not even sure if he would come back. And I think those things motivated him. And he's come back, he's looked the part, he looks a class player, and when he's on song, he is unstoppable. There are a handful of unstoppable players in the league. Curry is unstoppable from beyond the arc when he's in the zone, which is often. Giannis is unstoppable when he's going to the paint. You can delay him, you can frustrate him, but you can't stop him. Zion Williamson is one of those. He's built like a tank, and the boy is unstoppable. And I'm telling you, the Pelicans, if he stays fit, are going to cause some serious problems this season in the NBA. All right, break time. Back with more after these.
Want more content? Follow us on YouTube, subscribe to SportsMax on cable, and download the SportsMax app today.